your girls, grab your beers.
Hey everybody, this is Charlie from Anthrax, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
This is Mark Metcalf, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio.
You are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio. Yes, Kato Kalin listens to this all the time.
Welcome to today's Boondoggle. Now here's your host.
I am Monty Heath, so one Heath, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
Hey, what's up? It's John from Skillet, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle on Domain Cleveland Radio.
Fasten your seatbelts.
Incarceration Music and Tattoo Festival is back July 14th through 16th at Ohio State Reformatory with Slipknot, Limp Bizkit, Pantera, plus Full Beat, Megadeth, Lamb of God, In This Moment, Highly Suspect, and more. Hurry and get passes now at incarceration.com. Incarceration. So come and get it! Get it!
What's going on, everybody? It's Bill Bailey with today's Boondoggle. And real quick housekeeping note, if you are watching us on YouTube or Rumble or Odyssey or BitChute, please hit that follow and subscribe button. And if you are listening to us on Spotify or Apple or any of your favorite podcast platforms, please hit that follow and subscribe button so we can continue to bring you the types of conversations that I'm going to bring you today with speaking with Elias from the band Nonpoint. How you doing, man?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. Just like I said, the weather's been up and down over here, so it's kind of messing with my sinuses a little bit. But
you're all boondoggled.
Yeah, I'm all boondoggled up, man.
Yeah, I feel that.
But usually when I have somebody on for the first time, I like to get a quick background on them. So I wanted to ask, originally, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I always thought I'd either be a lawyer or a comedian. I was a class clown, and I was good at winning arguments. And that's about where. But as I grew, I thought I'd probably go into sales or something like that, and ended up actually doing administration and sales before I started in the band.
Oh, nice. And then, when was it? Do you remember how old you were that you got into music, and what attracted you to getting into music?
Well, I, singing around the house and stuff like that. Growing up, you recognize when you can. I was good at mimicking, things that I was hearing on the radio, and my pitch was pretty spot on, so that I realized that I had somewhat of a voice. But then it was really in high school when I started doing musical theater and stuff like that, where I realized that I had a passion for the stage, and got lucky, met the right people at the right time, and they were motivated dudes, and we started a band, and bing bang boom, we're Nonpoint.
Nice. So then high school, you were doing musicals, getting out there singing, figured out you had the pipes, and then you said you're also good at kind of sales, so frontman, good at communicating with the crowd and all that. You had all the tools. And then when did you get together with meet your bandmates and start Nonpoint?
Nonpoint began from me. I moved away to Tampa for a little while. I came back to South Florida and started a new job. I was hosting at a restaurant and became friends with a guy there that played bass. And he invited me to come listen to his band jam. And the members of that band were, eventually we all formed up and became Nonpoint. They at the time were Nonpoint Factor, and had a bunch of different members and a different singer. And then I joined the band shortly after meeting the guys a couple months in, and did a gig. And when we did the gig, everybody just kind of started calling us Nonpoint and basically dropped the factor for us. And we just rebranded, that lineup of four as Nonpoint.
And then what was like those early days like, once, you drop the factor, you guys are playing out and kind of just like building your brand.
First, it was slow going. You're at the time you're flyering. It wasn't any social media. So, getting the word out was more about hitting the streets or getting addresses and mailing people the flyers to let them know that the shows were coming. But we did that for about a year and a half, and then met Andy and Ken. They were playing in another band. Invited them to come jam with Rob and I, and that tight four became what everybody knew as the founding lineup of Nonpoint.
And then what was that music scene like there in South Florida when you guys were playing out?
It was pretty crazy, actually. There was the club scene was growing. The rock scene was definitely there. Manson had just pulled out of South Florida and started touring. And we, started filling the clubs that they had left behind. And started playing with local heavy hitters and, basically farming the fans over at our side and gathering as many fans as possible. And we slowly became, the heavy hitters in the local scene, got attention from our local radio station, who then invited us to play a festival that they put on and asked us to co-headline their second stage. And we got noticed by our old managers who were actually playing just before us on that stage. And, we got signed to MCA and, history was made.
Nice. Yeah, that was my next question. So good. And then, so then you guys get signed, you start getting, hitting the road, getting outside of Florida and building your brand. What were some of those early days like? And then, what were some of your favorite tours like back in the day?
It was pretty crazy in the beginning. We toured a lot, extensively. I believe there was this one run that we did. It was 18 months straight, basically, with just, peppered days off here and there between tours. I think in total we had 23 days off in that 18-month cycle. Doing the festivals, doing Ozfest, going overseas, doing Download and those festivals. It was pretty insane.
Nice. And then all these years later, you guys, still staying active, still keeping the name relevant today. What would you say is some of the things that you've experienced that has like surprised you all these years later, or things that you think you've learned from and benefited as a band?
I think something I never expected was how quickly music delivery would change and how often it would change in the span of my particular career. And then I feel like what's kept us going and what's kept us thriving is our ability to see those changes happening and adjusting ourselves to, at least allow the business side of our entire journey to be smart-minded and as low risk as possible. We do the work as much as possible, as much research. We follow numbers. We talk to our team and get strategies set up so that way we're making really good decisions with the time that we want to promote or record or drop music. It's important for people to understand that paying attention to the business side of things is paramount, just below the music creation. And when you don't give it that attention, it'll hurt the top.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that just plays into your longevity, as a band, because so many that don't get that aspect either get chewed up and spit out, and then never hear from them again. So you guys put together a good team, and definitely smart to pay attention to that aspect. That's the same thing I try and tell young artists here in the Cleveland area that I talk with and work with. It's just like, learn that business side, and because everything changes so much now.
Yeah, it does. And it's the best way to keep yourself safe from making a bad deal or working with the wrong people. Yeah,
exactly. And then speaking of touring, you guys I think just recently wrapped up one with Blacktop Mojo and Sumo Psycho. How did that go?
It went great. It was a very well attended tour, and the vibe of that entire tour was very, very chill and very. We all hung out and everybody partied and really had a good time and enjoyed the tour and enjoyed the fans. It was fun.
Nice. And then like performing this on this recent tour, I mean, you guys have recently, you put out some music. What about recently? And what was the reception been with the fans?
It's been great. We came off the heels of Ruthless, knowing that Heartless had to come with it, basically. And Heartless was a real fun song to play live. We all love playing it live, and the fans definitely sang along. So it's still going, which is great.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you about the single Heartless. Like, what was the message you're sending out with behind that song?
It was just really the continuation of the Tin Man story from what we were giving people in Ruthless. It was just basically a deeper dive into his particular personality, and playing a lot of the metaphors that we did with the concept, and knowing that we were going to be doing a tour. It was going to be the Emerald Cities tour. There was a lot of things that we got to play with conceptually, and that song really showcases that, and the show made it all tangible.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask too, like, about the concept behind Ruthless, and what inspired that whole process, putting that together.
It was just an idea that I was sitting on for a while. It's just a way to take a timeless story, I guess, and a concept like the Wizard of Oz, and really turn it into a more current storyline version of it.
Give like more behind the scenes in depth into like what a character like that would be in today's world.
Yeah, just more of a blue collar city type of person, and seeing that mountain, or that big city, that big bright city on the horizon, and getting to that city and figuring out that it's not really all that it's cracked up to be.
Yeah.
That's pretty telling, and pretty common these days.
Oh yeah, there's always a man behind the curtain,
Mm-hmm.
And then if you want to go back and share a little bit, I was watching some of your stuff during when we were dealing with the pandemic and the lockdown and stuff, and I wanted to ask about your inspiration for the song "Remember Me" and how you guys were able to still work together and put that together during the whole pandemic.
It was it was a pretty crazy time, and we had just gone black at the time. We had just basically right before the pandemic happened, we had shut off all our socials, and it was a pretty fun time right before that was happening. So people were pretty engaged, and our socials were growing pretty quickly. So when the pandemic happened, we were really just taking a break to set up for our independence, set up for the release of Ruthless, and to start that whole process. And then when the pandemic happened, we kind of hit the brakes on everything because we didn't know what it would be like putting music out that you couldn't tour to support. So we held off and got creative, and that's where that rendition of Frontlines came, and it came because of all the essential workers and all of our fans, and people hitting us up wondering where we were and how we were doing, because our socials were basically off. So about 2 months into it, we decided to turn everything back on, and with the purpose of engaging with the fans and giving them a little bit of entertainment during a pretty crazy time. So we did that, and then we did the covers campaign where we set up the brackets and allowed people to vote on our next cover. And then by the time all that finished up, we were getting word that things were going to start opening up. So we got prepared to drop the single. And then that's when we dropped Ruthless with the AEW Blood and Guts event, and then it was up. It was all skyrocketing from there.
Yeah, so you guys originally planned on doing the going dark before even like the pandemic was going on. That was going to be part of your plan to come back and release Ruthless, or kind of was it to take a break for yourselves though as well, or it was just kind of just to build up anticipation?
Well, it was really to start setting up and getting our new team onboarded and getting our strategies and our budget set up. But then, like I said, everything kind of fell apart.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was a really well done video, and good to acknowledge, the people that had to, to be out there, whether it was, in the medical field or whether it was our local grocery store, there was so much uncertainty. So, it was good to give a shout out to all the people that were stepping out there,
Yeah. We reached out to fans and asked them if they wanted to be a part of it. And it was gangbusters from there. Everybody wanted to be in the video. But it was fun. It was a fun concept. We had a good time.
Yeah, I was reading too that one of the members of your team, Francesca, was the one that kind of directed that whole video or that concept.
Yeah, she's the one that reached out to all the fans and organized it all and got them all to take pictures of themselves in a certain way, and then she edited it all together and edited it. It did all together, and fans loved it.
Yeah, I'm one of those fans for sure. And she's been a core member of the team now, from what I understand.
Yes, she was. We've unfortunately, she's stuck in Canada and couldn't move into this next cycle with us. But she was a lot of fun to work with and really helped us in the beginning for sure.
Nice. And then you mentioned, being able to, have that big audience with AEW for Blood and Guts. How did that relationship come together for you guys?
Actually, they reached out to us. They had been fans for quite some time. Their music director and the guy that puts on all of their music in their events reached out and asked us if we wanted to do a song. It's funny because it was supposed to go to a pay-per-view event before the pandemic, and they went ahead and did the event. They just had to do it, quarantine style. And those particular wrestlers were basically the only ones outside of the referees that were in the venue. So we were like, we weren't sure if we were going to be able to tour with the song. So we asked them if we could hold off that song and releasing it until things started to open up. And then when things started to open up, we reached out to them and said, hey, we're ready if you guys are to drop this song. And they were like, we happen to have the perfect event to drop it with, and showed us the Blood and Guts promo and the idea, and we were like, yeah, Ruthless with Blood and Guts, that's gonna be great.
Nice. And then you guys, then you got Chris Jericho there, part of that organization, and Fozzy. Have you guys ever had a chance to tour with them?
Yeah, we actually did a run with them in Europe for about a month. It was good. It's a fun run.
Nice.
Yeah, Chris and the boys are great. I'm friends with a couple of the members. They were in other bands throughout the years, so it was good to run into everybody. Shout out to the Fozzy boys.
Nice. And then, speaking of another tour coming up, you guys are going to be on the Psychotherapy Sessions tour with Mudvayne and Reunited Coal Chamber. Guar and the Butcher Babies. That's quite a, that's like almost like a traveling little festival in itself.
Yeah, we're excited about the lineup, the run, the opportunity to play with Mudvayne again. It's been years and years. So Mudvayne was one of the first tours we ever did in our career. They took us out in the very, very, very beginning. So excited to get out with those boys and see the Guar show. I have not seen that show in years, so excited to see that. And of course, the Butcher Babies are old friends of ours. We did the Kings and Queens tour with them and had a great time with them. So that Coal Chamber, we did Soundwave with Devil Driver. So Dez's old friends. So it's going to be fun.
Nice. Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a little family reunion, traveling family reunion for you guys.
For sure.
And then, what are you most looking forward to with getting out on the road with this tour? Like any other than just like reuniting with all these old friends, especially somebody have you kept a good relationship with the Mudvayne guys over the years since they were early on in your career?
Yeah. We've kept in touch throughout the years. We talk, Chad and I talk pretty often, and same thing with Greg. Greg reaches out every once in a while. He's a private type, but the other boys I've seen, here and there on tour when we've been out and about. So it's going to definitely be good to see the boys again.
Nice. And then anything that the fans can expect, any new surprises that you might drop along this tour?
I think we're going to keep the set pretty old school. Our fans that are coming to this show, we feel like are going to be, fans of our older music. We are going to be playing a new song on this run. But outside of that, I'd say 80% of it is going to be, old school bangers that people have been waiting to see.
Oh, no, that sounds perfect because it's kind of like, especially with Mudvayne back and Coal Chamber back, it's like, take everybody down memory lane with the early Nonpoint as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And then what kind of goals you guys got set for yourself, after this tour, like going forward?
This next release is really, on our radar. It's really basically all we're going to be pushing and be focused on over the next 2 months. So I'd say keep your ears open because it's coming. It's coming.
Nice. And then what's something that you feel you could still improve on, even though you've been at this for a number of years, but it sounds like you guys are always evolving, especially building a good, solid team. What else do you think you guys could still improve on?
The show can always be improved. I'd say, I really want to keep upping the production. This last tour really got people excited about our show. We have a new light guy, Dougie. Shout out to Dougie, who is phenomenal and makes us look amazing. And then, we have new production on stage and the look. You really got to come to the show to really experience it. People that have seen us for 2 decades now have really have never seen us in this kind of light.
Nice. And then if you could send a message back to your 12-year-old self, what would it be?
Save your money and invest early. And don't forget to have a good time. It's people like to complain and it get jaded out here, and we're really blessed to do what we get to do for a living, and I try to be grateful and not take too much advantage of that.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And then just stay enjoying the moment. There's nothing we could do about any of the mistakes made in the past, and worrying about how is this tour going to go, and all the things in the future aren't going to do us any good. Stay connected to right now.
Yep.
Enjoy the journey. And then I want to ask you some of the questions I normally ask guests that I have on. Talked about even some of your early days of getting the band together, but over the years, like, who would you say are some of your top 3 musical influences?
A lot of classic rock, I would say, because of their harmonies and their chord structures and that kind of characteristic of that music. I'm a huge fan of cadence and wordplay, so hip hop is high on my list. I grew up on hip hop and so I would definitely put that up there. And then lastly, I would say probably the hardcore scene of like those strange up and comers that always push the envelope of what they were doing. So people like your Glassjaws, your Deftones, and even newer stuff now. Huge fan of like the Nova Twins and the Dropout Kings were really cool band, up and coming band. So a lot of the elements in those bands are reminiscent of a lot of the things that I was influenced on. So it's fun to hear those cadences along with that kind of music, and then with really cool big hooks like like the classic rock and pop songs have, but painted over top of pretty aggressive music. That's what I'm a huge fan of.
Nice. Yeah, I got a chance to catch the Nova Twins at Sonic Temple this year, and wow, what an amazing stage presence and performance they have. Definitely want to see them again.
For sure.
And then what class do you feel should be mandatory before graduating high school?
Finance.
That's like the number one. They definitely don't cover that enough.
Yeah, they don't. They really don't.
Especially the tax system,
Yeah,
which I think is like on purpose, but that's a whole nother podcast.
It is.
And then 3 people who've inspired you or you can credit for making you the person that you are today.
My mother, my father, my stepfather, Bill, and I would say my teachers. I got lucky with teachers. I was one of those people that actually really liked a majority of my teachers and was able to get the experience out of school that I feel like everyone should get, but not everybody does because of the overpopulation in schools and the lack of attention on people's inherent abilities. Everyone learns at a different pace, and people are sometimes built a certain way and learn in ways that they mature as they get older, but their learning matures as well. And maturity, with girls and boys, it's completely different. So from human to human, it's going to be the same. Sometimes math doesn't click until you get older. Sometimes math don't click at all. But I feel like when someone, and I know this because I homeschool my daughter, and after the pandemic, we continued to homeschool her because we wanted her to actually learn this stuff and not just kind of get pushed through the school system, which it seems like they're doing that a lot. If your kid's nice and they like them, they'll just shuffle them through and really won't say anything. If they're not doing well, they'll just C and B them all the way to passing and let them do their thing. So I realized that it was thwarting my daughter's mental development. So we came out of that knowing that we wanted her to actually learn and get those kind of habits that will carry her into college, and if she wanted to do college, but really carry her into life and be an independent person. And I feel like learning basics about attention and focus and kindness and caring, empathy, and all those things that they really don't and can't teach you because you don't really get the attention in school. I feel like that's the difference right now. So that's what I aim for with my daughter.
That's amazing. I've heard, and you just reminded me of something too, like, myself that I experienced is like, there was a lot of people that looked at, the lockdown and the pandemic and just like, I mean, it was a very bad, and obviously so, especially like small business people and people that lost their lives during that time, it was horrible. But there's a lot of people that took something so negative and were able to make it into a positive. Like myself, both of my daughters are grown young women, and Dad's not that cool anymore. But we had to spend time together and reconnect, and reestablish our relationship, which was a blessing during that time. And it sounds like you guys use that time to do the same with your daughter, but also to, how you could better, prepare her for the world,
Yeah. We were in close proximity, so might as well teach her everything I could.
Yeah, and that the fact that you're continuing that is pretty amazing, too. Though because you realize what you know what maybe you don't see today, like you said, what the way the system's set up, where you had those awesome teachers that were able to like learn the way you learn and help teach you, at your learning, and then it just, I don't know. I just thought that was an amazing story to hear that you're continuing to do that with your daughter. So props, man.
Thanks, man.
And then, are there any causes or organizations that you support and encourage others to check out?
Not currently. I'm not as active in the philanthropic realm right now. We're kind of focused on onboarding our new business and I'm spinning so many plates right now, man. I couldn't even think of one right now.
Gotcha. And then going back once again to like childhood and the things that really like kind of lit up our creativity and our attracted our minds. What was your favorite toy as a child?
Favorite toy, probably my gaming systems. I really liked to game when I was a kid. Had a lot of good hand-eye coordination, so my Atari that eventually turned into a Sega, which eventually turned into a Dreamcast, which eventually turned into an Xbox One, which eventually turned into it's grew. I haven't been so much gaming lately, but I would say definitely my gaming systems were my favorite.
Nice. And then going back, this is a question I don't always ask, but since you had the AEW connection, did you have a favorite wrestler as a child?
I was a Hogan fan, but I liked a lot of the classic wrestlers. I was a huge fan of like Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and those good guys. I was a huge fan.
Nice. And then any message that you have for our military members that are currently serving overseas?
Get home safe and keep your head on the swivel, folks. You guys gotta get home safe more than anything.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Elias, man, I really appreciate you taking the time today and sharing some of yourself and what Nonpoint fans can look forward to. Now, for any of my listeners that might be new to Nonpoint, where would you, if they wanted to learn more and support you guys and check it out, your work, where would you send them?
If you go to nonpointstore.com, it's got links to all of our socials there. But we're across all the socials, so just type in Nonpoint. We'll most certainly be the number one choice there. But right now, our socials is where to get the most information and the most up to speed. We're about to open up a fan group that we're going to be moving into our .com here shortly. That's only going to be available to our closest circle. So if you're not a member of like the 361 group on Facebook or not a part of the store notifications, I would suggest you get over there quick because it's going to move kind of fast.
Nice. Well, like I said, I really appreciate your time. And if I could ask one last favor before I let you go, would you mind cutting a promo ID for the show, just introducing yourself and you're listening to today's Boondoggle?
Yes, sir. Ready?
Yeah.
Hey, this is Elias and you're listening. My bad. Ready?
Yeah.
Hey, this is Elias from the band Nonpoint and you're listening to today's Boondoggle.
Awesome. Elias, man, thank you so much for your time. I look forward to catching you when you come through the Cleveland area on the Psychotherapy Sessions tour.
I will see you there. I appreciate you, man.
All right. Take care.
Have a good one.